Amgen. I didn't buy Amgen on that first double bottom, which was perfect and a classic one. But I guess this is a good time to tell you that if you like a stock and you didn't get in at the beginning, if it's really a sound stock, it'll build another base somewhere down the line, so you got to watch it. I did go into it on that second base, which was a cup without a handle, and this occurred right at the turn of a market. The market had been correcting, and when the follow-through came, that's where I started the buy. These big leaders build 2 or 3 bases at least, so you just have to keep watching them. And sometimes the market correction makes a new base. So you had 3 bases here, and even the last one. If you missed the first 2, you could have bought it. The prices are split adjusted. Now, I think when I made my first purchase around, it wasn't at 18 on that second base, but it's probably something like 80. And we have a rule that if it goes up 20% in less than 3 weeks, you've got to hold it for at least 8 weeks. And I didn't calculate this, but I think this might have ticked off that rule. If so, you have to sit with it for at least 8 weeks. And that rule was developed from studying all the bases that would break out. And if something goes up 20% in only 1 or 2 weeks or 2.5, it's probably going to go substantially further because the power initially coming out is so strong. So we had a stock here with earnings and sales, and the last base was what we call double bottom, but it was a shakeout below a bottom, and there's an old Livermore rule that says when you retrace back through that bottom by 3 points on a $30 stock, that establishes a new buy point, and that's where our last buy point was in that stock. Most of my winners in the past have been either retail stocks or drug companies. And a drug company is very simple. Do they have a new drug that solves some important problem? That's reflected in the sales and the earnings. And that's what Amgen had as a new product, and it solved a problem. I think it was a pill that they could give people, and their blood count would suddenly snap out of it and come around to a number that it should be, and it happened pretty fast. And as soon as I found that out, that's why I was interested in that stock. Now, one of the other drug companies that we did fairly well with many years ago was Syntex, and of course that was an obvious thing. They had the pill. The sales and earnings were huge. I think the earnings were 100% at the time, quarter by quarter. So you're always looking for a drug that's got something that's really working, and the stock is responding to it because of the sales and earnings increases. I'm not guessing as to what they could do. In other words, there will be some evidence that, hey, they've got this pill, and when people take it, the problem that they've got is reversed within 2 or 3 days. That is a shocking thing, and that was their situation, that when somebody took this pill, their blood count changed around within 2 or 3 days, and it was something that was very relevant. Some drug companies you may not understand or be able to figure out. Well, if I can't figure it out, I'm not going to be interested in it. But usually you can know, okay, here's what they've got that's new, and here's the disease it attacks, and here's the result, and this result is showing up to be far better than anybody had had in the past, and that's what you go on. And then if that's all true, then the sales and earnings should be there too. So that's what drives the product. And a new drug that solves a problem usually is going to double or triple or quadruple, whatever. If I'm timing it exactly right, in other words, buying as it's coming out of a base, this was coming out of a cup without a handle, and the general market had been in a correction for 2 or 3 months, and the general market had a follow-through day. So on a follow-through day, this is one of the first ones breaking out on volume, and so I would start there, and if I'm right, normally I'm going to be ahead in the first day or two, and I'll follow up a little bit. And so that's always the policy. If you're ahead, you try to follow up somehow, maybe not with quite as much because you don't want to get top heavy, but you do follow up. And if you buy it and it goes down, I don't follow up. In fact, if it goes down enough, I just get rid of it. You let the market tell you, and if you're really right, it probably is going to move up from when you're buying it.